My fiancé mocked my last name as lower class and refused to take it, so I calmly agreed, then gave it to someone who actually wanted it, and let her mom find out through the wedding invite with a completely different bride's name. I was standing in the middle of Lauren Whitmore's parents' dining room in Ridgefield, Connecticut, surrounded by crystal vases and $90 scented candles, when she looked up from her phone and said the sentence that detonated our entire life. "Evan, don't expect me to take your last name. It sounds low tier, like I was a defective product." The calligrapher froze, pen suspended mid-stroke. Her parents stared at her like she'd just announced she was joining a cult. And me? I just stood there, engagement ring still on her finger, invitations on the table, and my entire identity suddenly treated like trash. I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, "When did you decide that?" Lauren shrugged without looking away from her phone. "I've always planned to keep my own name. It fits my brand better." Her brand. She had 11,000 followers on LinkedIn. She honestly acted like she ran the world. Her dad cleared his throat. "Sweetheart, that's something couples normally discuss." "There's nothing to discuss," she said, finally looking at me. "No offense, Evan, but Kowalski sounds like you work at a gas station." The room went dead silent. "See, my last name? My grandfather carried that name from Krakow to Buffalo with 1 suitcase and 0 English. My dad built a construction company with that same name, union contracts, good benefits, 70 employees. That gas station name paid for my education, my first car, and every damned meal I ate growing up. So I repeated it, low tier." Lauren blinked, annoyed I wasn't just absorbing the insult and moving on. "It's hard to pronounce. My name sounds more polished, more elevated." "What's elevated about looking down on people?" I asked. She frowned like I was embarrassing her. "Okay, you're being dramatic." But I wasn't dramatic. I was awake. I drove home alone. She stayed at her apartment to think. I spent the night on my couch staring at the wall, realizing she hadn't just insulted my name. She'd insulted everything that made me who I am. The next morning I called her. "We need to talk about yesterday." Her sigh was the snootiest sound I've ever heard. "Are you seriously still upset?" I said, "No offense. No offense doesn't erase the offense. You're sensitive about it. That's on you. That's not an apology." "I'm sorry you feel that way," she said. The worst version of sorry ever invented. I checked the wedding contracts. My venue was refundable for 5 more days. Her parents had paid for the calligrapher, but all my deposits, venue, DJ, flowers, were in my name. At 2:47 p.m., I texted her, "I can't marry someone who thinks my family name is beneath her. Wedding is canceled. Handle your vendors. I'll handle mine." At 2:51. "What? Call me right now. This is insane." Blocked. Venue refunded. DJ deposit gone, whatever. Guest list notified. 3 weeks later, I was starting to feel human again. Then Lauren's mother called me out of nowhere. Thinking I was still with her daughter. Thinking we were still getting married. Thinking everything would magically fall back into place. But that wasn't the twist. The twist was this. 2 months after canceling the wedding, I met someone else, Samantha, and within 6 months, she wanted my last name. She said it proudly. She loved everything Lauren hated. I didn't know then that this would set off the kind of fallout I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I definitely didn't know what Lauren was about to do next. But I was about to find out. And it was only the beginning. People always assume the breakup started with that low-tier comment in Lauren's parents' dining room. But honestly, that was just the moment the mask finally slipped. The truth is, the cracks started way earlier. Long before the wedding invitations, the calligrapher, the fancy house in Ridgefield, all of it. I met Lauren Whitmore 3 years ago at a nonprofit gala in Stamford. She was the type of woman who walked into a room like it owed her something. Tall, perfect hair, designer everything. Even her laugh sounded expensive. She worked in PR for some boutique firm and talked about her personal brand more than she talked about her actual personality. But she noticed me, Evan Kowalski, guy from Buffalo whose biggest luxury was a truck with heated seats. The very first thing she ever said to me was, "You clean up well." Not hello. Not nice to meet you. Just that. A compliment with a built-in reminder of where she assumed I came from. I didn't see it at the time. I just saw someone incredible paying attention to me. Our first months were good. Really good. She was affectionate, generous, exciting. She loved how hard I worked, how close I was to my family, how grounded I was. That's what she called it, grounded. I didn't realize until later that she secretly meant usefully humble. Once we moved in together, the small stuff started. She'd correct the way I pronounced certain words. She'd tell me which shirts made me look too blue-collar. She'd suggest I aim higher when I said I was happy staying at my job. She hated when I used coupons. She told me real Christmas trees were lower middle-class energy. Little cuts, tiny digs, easy to brush off at first. But then the bigger things showed up. She started talking about neighborhoods I should aspire to, the kind with multi-million-dollar homes where nobody actually parks their own car. She said my parents' house was cute in a rustic way, which was code for small and not enough. She didn't want me to wear my dad's construction company hoodie outside the apartment because it sent the wrong message. She once asked if my brother could avoid wearing his union jacket to a family dinner with her parents because she didn't want them to misunderstand our lifestyle. Red flag city, but I told myself she meant well. That she had high standards. That she grew up differently. My family saw it before I did. My mom asked me once quietly if Lauren ever made me feel less than. I laughed it off. Told her she didn't understand Lauren's sense of humor. But she did. My dad, who barely comments on anything relationship-related, said, "She doesn't talk to you like a partner. She talks to you like a project." That one stung. Still, I proposed. Because I thought love meant pushing through discomfort. Because I thought I could bridge the difference between where I came from and where she wanted to go. I ignored every warning sign, every micro-insult, every moment she treated me like I was almost good enough but not quite. And then came the wedding planning, an 8-month crash course in realizing Lauren didn't just want to marry me. She wanted to upgrade me. The venue had to be elegant. The guest list had to be strategic. The wedding photos had to be brand forward. I thought she was excited. She was actually curating. I just didn't see it fully until the day she called my family's name low tier in front of her parents like it was a harmless observation. That wasn't the beginning of the end. That was the moment the end finally spoke out loud. But none of that was the real twist. The real twist came later, when I realized Lauren never actually planned on taking my last name at all. But her reason, her actual reason, I wouldn't learn that until much, much later. And it changed everything. Looking back, the days right after I ended things with Lauren were the quiet before a storm I never saw coming. I thought breaking off the engagement would be the worst part. I thought the pain would peak there. Telling people, canceling plans, mourning the future I thought I wanted. But the real escalation didn't come from grief. Came from control. And losing it. Lauren didn't call me the night I ended it. Not once. Didn't show up at my door. Didn't even send a long message. It was 4 words. Call me right now. That was it. No apology. No explanation. No regret. Just command. I blocked the number. But the thing about people like Lauren, they don't accept being blocked. They don't accept being left. They don't accept the idea that someone they considered moldable can suddenly grow a spine. The first week after the breakup, I heard nothing. Felt strange, too easy. I started to wonder if maybe I'd blown things bigger in my head than they actually were. Then week 2 rolled around. I got a call from her coworker, someone I barely knew, saying Lauren had called out of work, crying hysterically, and that I should be gentle because she was in a fragile place. Except that same day, I saw her on Instagram at a rooftop bar in Manhattan, laughing with a cocktail in her hand, tagged, smiling, perfect makeup, caption, healing isn't linear. Felt weird, like she was acting in a movie where she was both star and victim. Then her friend Emily messaged me on Facebook. She's devastated. You blindsided her. Blindsided. Even though she'd insulted my family name, refused to talk about it, and treated me like an irritation for caring. Still, I ignored it. I wasn't getting pulled back into her orbit. Then came the vendor calls. First, the DJ reached out. "Hey man, I got your cancellation request. I'm confirming it's legit?" I hadn't called anyone. Then the photographer. Then the florist. Then the caterer. Someone was pretending to be me, or pretending to be the groom, trying to cancel every vendor tied to my name. All of them told me the same thing. The caller had a woman's voice. I knew who it was instantly. When I texted Lauren's old number from a burner app, just to confirm if she was behind it, I got a response. "I don't know what you think I owe you, but you're not ruining my reputation after everything I invested in this relationship." Her reputation. Her investment. Not love. Not us. Her brand. This wasn't heartbreak. This was damage control. And I had underestimated how far she'd go to protect the image of a perfect, curated relationship. The real escalation came 2 months later, after I met Samantha, after I felt genuinely happy again, after my life felt stable for the first time since the breakup. I posted one photo, just one. Me and Samantha at a charity event, her in jeans and a messy ponytail, me smiling in a way I hadn't in years. 30 minutes later, my brother texted, "Dude, check the comments." Lauren hadn't commented. Her friends had. Passive-aggressive, pointed, veiled, vicious. But Lauren herself stayed silent, which scared me more than if she'd exploded. Then, 3 days later, Samantha got a DM from a burner account. "Ask Evan why he really canceled his last wedding. Ask him what he didn't tell you." We both stared at the message, because I'd told Samantha everything. Everything except one detail I didn't think mattered anymore. Lauren never wanted to take my last name. But apparently that wasn't just a preference. It was part of a plan. One I was about to uncover. And it was ugly. I didn't expect the first real bomb to drop on a random Wednesday night, sitting on my couch with leftover takeout and Samantha's feet in my lap. We were flipping through Netflix when my phone buzzed. An email notification from a name I didn't recognize. Whitmore and Jameson PR Solutions. Contract update. I almost deleted it as spam. But the subject line froze me. Finalizing the Kowalski rebrand proposal. Rebrand? My pulse jumped. I opened it. Inside was a thread. A long one. And my name. My actual full legal name was plastered across the entire thing like it was a product they were prepping to launch. I scrolled and felt something cold settle into the center of my chest. The emails weren't new. They were from 4 months before the breakup, when we were still together. They laid out a full PR strategy for Lauren's life post-wedding. Project title: The Whitmore Kowalski Brand Merge. Objective: elevate the groom's image to match the Whitmore family's professional and social tier. Action items: shift Evan's wardrobe toward more upscale business casual. Discourage Kowalski family influences in public-facing spaces. Emphasize Whitmore as the primary surname in all professional and social interactions. Position Evan as a refined partner rising into a more polished lifestyle. I felt sick, like I'd been rewritten without consent. But the worst line, the one that punched me straight in the gut, was this: once married, begin easing Evan toward adopting Whitmore as a hyphenated or replacement surname to maintain consistency in Lauren's brand story. Replace my last name. Quietly, strategically, like my entire heritage was a stain on her curated life plan. Samantha must have felt my body go rigid because she sat up fast. "What's wrong?" I handed her the phone without speaking. Her jaw tightened as she read. "Oh my God, Evan. She was trying to erase you." "No, not erase me. Rewrite me." Lauren hadn't just disliked my last name. She wanted to phase it out the way a corporation phases out outdated branding. And somehow, one of her firm's junior employees had forwarded the whole chain to me by mistake when they sent out automated contract updates. Couldn't breathe. Then I kept scrolling. Near the bottom was a reply from Lauren herself, sent 6 weeks before the engagement ended. "My fiancé won't mind the adjustment. He's adaptable and he knows I have higher standards. He trusts me to elevate both of us." Adaptable, elevate, higher standards. I read that line over and over until the words lost meaning. Suddenly everything made sense. The subtle digs, the suggestions, the way she'd correct me refine me, groom me. She didn't just want a wedding. She wanted a product launch. And I was the product. Then I saw the sentence that made my hands shake. If he resists the name change, we can manage the narrative with a mutual decision PR angle. He's emotionally attached to his identity, but that can be reframed. Reframed. Like my grandfather's life, my father's company, my entire lineage. PR angle. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling something twist painfully inside my chest. Like betrayal layered on top of humiliation layered on top of rage. Because Lauren didn't just think my name was low tier. She'd been planning a quiet erasure behind my back for months. This wasn't insecurity. This wasn't vanity. This was control. And for the first time since the breakup, I realized Lauren wasn't angry I left. She was angry I ruined her plan. The plan she never expected me to discover. But now I knew everything. And it was only going to get uglier. After reading those emails, something inside me went very still. Like the part of me that used to second-guess myself simply shut off. I wasn't spiraling. I wasn't confused. I wasn't hurting. I was done. Lauren hadn't just insulted my name. She tried to rewrite my entire identity behind my back, positioning me like some half-finished project she could polish until I fit her aesthetic. And now she was trying to claw her way back into my life, acting like I owed her closure, while still sabotaging anything she couldn't control. I showed Samantha the full thread. She set my phone down gently, like she was handling something toxic. She planned to change who you are, she whispered, without even telling you. She would have tried it after marriage, I said. Gradually, make me question my own expectations until I thought the idea was mine. Samantha looked at me with a seriousness I'd never seen in her before. Evan, you need to protect yourself. And she was right. Because if Lauren had spent months building a PR strategy around manipulating my life, she wasn't going to back down just because I said no. She was going to escalate, and escalate, and escalate. So I decided to be prepared this time. Not to attack, not to be petty, but to protect my life, my future marriage, and my name. The first step was documentation. I pulled up every message Lauren had sent before I fully blocked her. The tone was all the same, entitlement mixed with wounded pride. Nothing extreme yet, but the seeds were there. You owe me a conversation. We invested too much to throw it away. Don't be rash. I screenshotted everything. Then came the vendor sabotage. 5 calls from people I personally worked with. All of them saying a woman matching her voice tried to cancel my contracts. Screenshotted those too. Then the burner account that messaged Samantha. Saved. I created a folder labeled Whitmore Boundary Violations. Cold. Clinical. Necessary. Next step. Police guidance. My buddy Alejandro, an officer in Norwalk PD, had been telling me for months to keep receipts. When I sent him Lauren's emails, he called me instantly. Dude, this isn't breakup drama anymore, he said. This is premeditated manipulation. You need to take this seriously. I am. Good. Because if she feels like she's losing control, she's going to do something reckless. I didn't argue. I knew he was right. Next step. Talk to my lawyer, Jenna, the one who handled my family's business contracts. When I forwarded her the email chain, she called me within minutes. Evan, this is not normal behavior. No kidding. This is coercive planning. And it shows she intended to misrepresent your identity after marriage. That's actually grounds for an annulment in some states. You did the right thing ending it. I felt a strange mix of relief and disgust. Jenna continued, from here forward, you need a paper trail for everything. Don't respond to her directly. Don't give her emotional openings. If she contacts you again, any form, any burner, any fake profile, save it. This is a boundary case with a high risk of escalation. So I should prepare for her to snap? Prepare for her to panic, she corrected. People like Lauren don't snap. They spiral strategically. And that line stuck with me. Strategic spiraling. That was exactly who she was. I started compiling everything in chronological order, like building a silent shield around my life. But there was one thing I didn't expect. One thing that made the hair on my arms stand up with a cold sense of recognition. Jenna sent me a follow-up email. Evan, her PR firm's name, Whitmore and Jameson, is actually run by Lauren's mother. That meant those emails weren't random. They weren't theoretical. They weren't drafts. They were a family-endorsed plan. Her whole family knew. Her whole family was in on it. And that meant the fight ahead wasn't just with Lauren. It was with all of them. 3 days after my lawyer told me Lauren's mother co-owned the PR firm behind my rebranding, I finally understood something I'd been refusing to see. Lauren didn't turn into this person. She was raised to be this person. I thought the worst was behind me. I thought the sabotage attempts, the passive-aggressive messages, the burner account shit, that was just her unraveling. I was wrong. The second twist didn't come from Lauren. It came from someone I never expected to hear from at all. Her father. It happened late on a Sunday afternoon while Samantha and I were grilling on our tiny balcony. My phone buzzed with an unknown number, and normally I ignore those, but something made me answer. Evan, a tired voice, older, cracked a little. Yes? Who is this? It's Mark, Lauren's father. I didn't respond. I just walked away from Samantha and closed the sliding door behind me. He let out a long breath, like he was bracing himself. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need to tell you something. Something important. I waited. He continued, voice low, shaky in a way I'd never heard from the polished, country club version of him. My wife Linda and Lauren, they had plans, long before you ever proposed. My chest tightened. Plans about what? About you, he said. About your life. About your image. About your future family. I felt my stomach drop. He kept talking. They didn't just want you to take the Whitmore name, he said. They wanted your children to take Whitmore only. No hyphen. No compromise. I had to sit down. My legs literally gave out. He kept going like he'd held this in for months. Linda thought Kowalski would drag down the family brand. She said it sounded ethnically messy. Her words, not mine. I felt something cold crawl up my spine. He wasn't done. They had a timeline, he admitted. 6 months post-wedding, they were going to push the name change. A year after that, push to move you two into a more appropriate neighborhood. 2 years in, they planned to distance you from your family. What? I whispered. Limit contact, he said. She said your family didn't match the lifestyle Lauren would be curating. Again, her words. I felt physically nauseous. And they wanted grandkids raised as Whitmores, he added softly. No trace of your side. Couldn't even breathe. The air felt thick. Wrong. Violated. He kept talking, desperate now. I didn't agree with any of it. I told them it was manipulative, cruel. But they made it sound like strategy, like a business model. They don't see people. They see narratives. They see image. They see what looks best on paper. I didn't say a word. And when you called off the wedding, he said, Linda told Lauren it was your panic phase, and you'd come crawling back after realizing what she could make you into. Make you into. Not love. Not support. Make. He took a shaky breath. You were never the problem, Evan. You were the project. My hands were shaking. He whispered, voice breaking. I'm sorry. I should have spoken up sooner. I should have warned you. I swallowed hard. Why are you telling me this now? Because, he said quietly, Lauren thinks you're getting married too quickly. She says she needs to course-correct your life before it's too late. And she's not thinking clearly. My wife is encouraging her. I'm worried about what she might do. And in that moment, every vendor cancellation, every burner account, every attempt to claw her way back into my life suddenly made horrifying sense. Lauren wasn't trying to get me back. She was trying to reclaim the project. And she thought she still had time. But the worst part? She genuinely believed she was entitled to. After Lauren's father told me everything, I spent the whole night sitting at the kitchen table, staring at the dark window like it might blink back at me. It didn't feel real. This idea that the woman I almost married had been planning my life like a marketing rollout. But the next day, the full truth came out. And it wasn't just manipulative. It wasn't just controlling. It was terrifying in its coldness. It started with an envelope. A thin, crisp, white envelope slipped under my apartment door while Samantha and I were out getting groceries. No name on the front. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Typed, clinical, chilling. It was a printout of an internal memo from Whitmore and Jameson, Lauren's mother's PR firm. The subject line read, Long-term identity strategy. Evan Whitmore, pending groom. But below it, in small, ugly text, was something worse. Prepared by L. Whitmore. Not her mother, Lauren. She'd written a whole document. About me. For herself. I read it once. Then twice. Then I had to sit down because the room felt like it was slowly tilting. This is what it said verbatim. Objective. Integrate Evan fully into the Whitmore narrative. Remove obstacles related to background, family culture, and class alignment. Maintain brand cohesion for future professional ventures. I felt a cold wave hit me. Next lines. Phase 1. Engagement period. Normalize higher social standards. Introduce Evan to curated circles and discourage old habits. Reduce Kowalski family influence through gentle lifestyle upgrades. Correct language, dress, and presentation issues. Correct. Issues. My heritage was an issue. Then came Phase 2. Phase 2. Post-marriage integration. Combine household identity under Whitmore. Begin shifting Evan's professional presence, social media, LinkedIn, to the Whitmore surname. Approach Kowalski-Whitmore change gradually, framed as modernizing for family unity. Modernizing. Like my last name was outdated tech. Phase 3 was the one that made my skin crawl. Phase 3, generational realignment. Ensure all children carry Whitmore name exclusively. Limit Kowalski side involvement to holidays or controlled settings. Present children publicly as part of Whitmore legacy. Limit involvement. Controlled settings. She wasn't just trying to erase my identity. She wanted to erase my entire family line from everything that mattered in her world. Then one more note at the bottom, short, handwritten, unmistakably Lauren's handwriting. Once he adjusts, he won't fight it. He's malleable. He wants to please. We can shape him. Samantha read over my shoulder. I felt her hand slide into mine, tight and protective. But my brain was somewhere else. Somewhere cold. Somewhere dark. Because suddenly, the truth was horrifyingly clear. Lauren didn't love me. Not even a twisted version of love. She loved the potential version of me she believed she could manufacture. A name-polished, family-controlled, professionally repositioned product. Not a partner. Not a human. Project with a pulse. And her mother? She encouraged it. Proved it. Structured it. This wasn't just personal cruelty. This was generational grooming on their end. A blueprint for my identity. A blueprint for my future children. A blueprint for the erasure of the Kowalski lineage, all because it wasn't polished enough for their brand. No sympathy. No remorse. No humanity. Just strategy. Just image. Just control. When I finished reading, Samantha whispered, Evan, we're not dealing with heartbreak. We're dealing with people who don't see you as a person. And that was the moment something inside me clicked. Clean break. A razor-sharp certainty. Lauren and her family didn't deserve silence. They didn't deserve privacy. They didn't deserve to keep their behavior hidden. They deserved consequences. Real ones. Because this wasn't just betrayal. It was attempted identity theft at the emotional and generational level. And I was done being quiet about it. The thing about people like Lauren and her mother is they genuinely believe they're untouchable. They think manipulation is strategy. They think control is love. They think consequences are for everyone else. They don't expect someone like me, someone they labeled low tier, to fight back with precision. But I did. And it started with the envelope. Whoever slipped that memo under my door, whether it was a guilty employee, her father, or someone sick of the Whitmore machine, gave me the exact evidence I needed to end all of it. Not just the harassment. Not just the sabotage. The entire Whitmore narrative. I forwarded every document, emails, the identity strategy, the PR plan to my lawyer. Her response was instant. This is defamation. coercion, and attempted identity manipulation. We're going on the offensive. So we did. We filed a defamation claim against Lauren and Whitmore and Jameson PR for the burner account messages, the vendor calls, the smearing attempts, and the internal documents strategizing the erasure of my identity. The best part? We attached the memo as Exhibit A. Lauren tried to deny writing it. Her mother tried to deny authorizing it. But the metadata didn't lie. The document came from Lauren's work laptop, sent internally, saved under her personal folder. Their lawyer went pale when he saw it. We filed a separate report documenting the vendor sabotage, the burner messages, the identity blueprint. The strategic attempt to isolate me from my family. Police took it seriously, very seriously, because it wasn't just harassment anymore. It was pattern control, the kind that escalates. Lauren was served the next morning. Her mother too. My lawyer recommended we do something subtle but powerful. We didn't leak the documents. We didn't shame them online. We simply filed everything through the court system, where it became public record. Anyone could look it up, including their clients. Within a week, Whitmore and Jameson PR lost 2 major accounts. Within 2 weeks, Lauren's mother pulled her own daughter from all company-facing roles. Within a month, the company website erased Lauren from the staff page entirely. Brand cohesion, I guess. The court scheduled a mediation meeting before moving to trial. I didn't have to attend. No one would have blamed me for skipping it. But I went. Not for closure. Not for revenge. For clarity. Lauren walked in with perfect makeup and shaking hands. Her mother sat stiff, furious, like someone forced to inhale poison. Their lawyer opened with, "My clients are prepared to settle." My lawyer didn't even look up. "We're listening." Lauren spoke. Her voice cracked. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just wanted us to fit." I stared at her for a long second. Fit into what? A corporate brochure? A brand strategy? You didn't want a husband. You wanted a customizable accessory. Her eyes filled with tears, but there was something behind them. Resentment, not regret. Her mother broke. "You're blowing this out of proportion." Those documents were exploratory. Nothing was finalized. I pulled out the printed memo, slid it across the table. "You called my family obstacles. You planned to limit their access to their future grandkids. You planned to erase my name, my identity, everything that makes me who I am." I leaned forward. I wasn't marrying into a family. I was being absorbed. Silence. Cold. Heavy. Absolute. Their lawyer cleared his throat. "We'd like to propose a settlement. Full admission of wrongdoing, public apology, and payment for damages." My lawyer nodded. "That will do." Lauren whispered, "You're really doing this?" I looked her right in the eye. "You tried to erase me. I'm just protecting myself." She didn't respond. The apology went up publicly, 30 days, pinned. Their firm paid damages. Their reputation cracked like thin glass. And me? I went home to Samantha, who met me at the door, kissed the side of my jaw, and whispered, "Your name matters. You matter. And no one will ever take that from you again." For months later, we got married in a small garden ceremony. 50 people. Nothing curated, nothing staged. When she said, "I take you, Evan Kowalski," she said it with pride. We hung our new mailbox the next week, the Kowalskis, right beside our dog's leash hook. A name Lauren tried to bury. A name my grandfather carried through Ellis Island. A name my future child will carry, too. She tried to rewrite my identity. In the end, I protected it. And that wasn't just revenge. That was justice.